Presents partner with Cancel This Show with myself, Vic Faust, and my co-host,
Megan Marie. We're ranked in the top 10% globally.
Our show has reached over 1.68 million engaged listeners, and we continue to grow monthly.
Podcasting is one of the best ways to advertise
because it offers a highly engaged audience, SEO-targeted reach,
and the ability to build a personal connection with listeners.
Dive into the dynamic world of cancel culture, politics, all current events, and the latest news with us.
It's the American taxpayers that are having to pay for all of this monkey business left and right.
Look at all of these pictures. They are using AI to generate fake photos, and we show you them. And Joe will show, we got a video of one, we've got certain pictures.
They were hiding the fact and trying to lie to the American people for months that Joe Biden was doing well.
This is Kamala. This is Joe Biden. It's Barack Obama. It's Jake Sullivan, all together doing anything and everything they can to strike back at Donald Trump because he continues to kick their ass.
If that doesn't make you mad enough to vote one way or another in this election, nothing will do it.
Get your company's voice heard, your brand recognized,
and the exposure you deserve.
Does your brand align with our mission?
Let's talk and make an impact together. Hello, hello, hello. Yo, yo, yo. Hey, welcome to the garbage show today.
You bunch of pieces
We're
of
all
garbage.
just pieces of trash, according to Joe Biden.
Garbage.
Good morning. We're all garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden called everybody that follows Trump garbage.
Yes.
And Kamala Harris didn't say anything to disassociate herself with it. No Democratic, well, hell, the Democratic politicians want nothing to do with Kamala Harris.
Yeah. Just when you were starting to accept the fact that you were in a cult and you were part of the MAGA cult, just when you were starting to get used to that, here you go. Welcome, garbage people.
Are you feeling trashy, according to Gary? One man's trash is another man's treasure.
There you go, Chris.
This is Cancel This. We appreciate you guys jumping in. The show of trash, garbage. We're all about trash talk today, I guess, because
guess so.
And we're deplorables. That's right.
Yeah.
Heather says I'm a proud piece of garbage. Trump 2024.
That's right.
You see what this is? The Democrats, the party. That's the party of trash. That's the party of nastiness, dirtiness, lies, cheating, stealing. They are, which is why I don't know how people who call themselves Democrats or will vote for those policies can actually look in a mirror every day and not feel trashy about themselves. We know who the trash is. We know who the garbage is. And we know where the garbage policies are. It's within the Democratic Party. It is not a Trump follower. My God, that man, not only is Joe Biden the worst president in history of this country, who had the worst vice president in history of the country, Kamala Harris. But he's off his rockers, we've known. But he's pissed. He wants to be a part of the team. Mm-hmm. And the team said, get lost, Joe. We don't want nothing to do with you, which is why I don't like Kamala Harris. Yeah. Has nothing to do with her as a person. It has to do everything with it. She's a liar. She's an evil liar. I mean, her nasty way of talking and looking at a camera and looking at somebody. And you see her when the abrupt moments come up, when she doesn't have a prompter to tell her what to say. She shows her true colors. She's a nasty ass. You know what? She is. Just, there's nothing kind, sweet, womanly, feminine about her. Just, you want to talk about trash? It's not Donald Trump. And then she refused to disassociate herself from the comments that Joe Biden made last night. Mm-hmm. Let's get right to them. Do we have Joe? We do have Joe.
She can't. What are they supposed to do? They've already.
Or do I need to run those, Joe? All right, we'll do it too. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Megan.
they've already treated Joe Biden literally like a piece of trash. I mean, they took him out to the dumpster a few months
they
ago.
did.
They literally did. So and they've tried to distance themselves. They've tried to keep him at bay, but it is for reasons like this, to prevent him from saying the things like he said about the Republicans being garbage.
Well, let's listen to the comment that he had last night. So I'm trying to run this really quick. I'm not going to be as quick as Joe does it right now, but I think I'm going to be able to do this in just a second.
Yes, you can.
I know.
You got it.
That's going to be what we're going to do. I just couldn't believe that this actually happened last night, where you had Joe Biden coming up, and
they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
Joe Biden just called people that follow Trump trash.
Garbage and
deplorable. Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as
Hey, can you is there any chance you can back that up? Because let me tell you, the beginning of this clip is hilarious. I had to listen to it 4 times.
And it's un-American.
Because what he does, and he catches himself, is he tries to talk about him being a Puerto Rican. And then he has to catch himself.
Really?
Oh my gosh. And then he catches himself and he's like, well, I mean, like, the Puerto Ricans that I know in Delaware. It was so funny because he so badly wanted to say, I'm a Puerto Rican.
Here, let me maximize
and I am
the
not
page,
trash.
and then I'll do it right now.
Yeah,
okay, watch this. This is interesting.
Yes. It's interesting watching you work so diligently and technically.
Well, I ran it a couple different times.
It's his first time.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing...
Yeah, I was trying to, but we've never had to do it 3 times. I've never had to do it 3 times, so I don't know. But I couldn't get it.
Refresh the page, that tab.
I don't know how you do that.
Like you would with Restream.
Oh, just the circle?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was going to do the whole Restream. Sorry, I thought it was going to reload everything, Joe. But I'll follow your advice.
Yeah, Chris heard it. Okay, good. Well, anyway, if we can't get, you guys make sure
it didn't work, Joe. What you wanted me to do, buddy?
That's because when you refreshed it, it took it off of the share. You have to reshare it.
Yeah, I got you, Megan. You were going to say,
yeah. So, Chris saw it, and it is really, really just a funny clip, and it's of him. It's in the same little tidbit as him calling Republicans deplorables and garbage. But before that, he's trying to talk about the Puerto Ricans, and he's trying to act like he's super, super insulted that anyone would say anything bad about Puerto Ricans. And he starts going into, well, the Puerto Ricans, well, I mean, the people that I know are Puerto Rican. And it is just so funny. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, the dude just caught himself trying to tell people again that he's Puerto Rican. He's not Puerto Rican, Joe Biden. You're not Puerto Rican.
He did say
you
that
never
at one
were,
point in time,
and you never will be.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, so funny. I mean, he
called Trump supporters garbage.
Yes, he sure did, and deplorables. And it's all due to the fact that he was basically replying to a comment that a comedian said the other night at a rally. A comedian. So,
and by the way, I know Joe loves Tony Hinchcliffe. He was terrible at this rally. He was bad. It was bad. This was at the New York rally where it occurred. And we've talked about this, and this is what Democrats are trying to do because they can't get Donald Trump on policy. They can't get Donald Trump on anything he says or does. So let's go after a comedian that was at his rally and said, we said it yesterday. Oh, there's a garbage thing floating through the ocean. It's Puerto Rico, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Trump had nothing to do with it, immediately disassociated himself from it. And then Democrats, oh, that's Trump. He wants you to believe that because they're desperate.
They're so desperate.
The Democrats
right
are losing. They're losers for supporting policies that Kamala Harris is promoting. They're losers for that. That's why I use the word losers. And I'll be straightforward, direct with it. And of course, there's not a Democrat on this planet that could come into this show and actually prove that we're wrong. You're losers. You're absolute losers for those policies because they do not promote America. Never have, never will. And then on top of it, to try to lie about candidates and do all the things that have done when it's not fair and honest, it blows my freaking mind. So they're losers, and that's fine.
Yes.
But then the other thing that was great about it is the fact that Trump disassociated himself, and we'll play that bite in a little bit. But Tony Hinchcliffe's the comedian who said that. And his whole monologue or whatever you want to, it was terrible. I'm sorry. I know people think he's funny on a show called Kill Tony down at Rogan's place, but he's not.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Tony Hinchcliffe, stay away from comedian politics. You were, he was, I mean, I'm literally like, this guy's a dumbass, a total freaking dumbass. And then I don't know if he was trying to say something to get, make himself look good, or I don't know if he was a plant, but it was stupid for him to say. There was nothing good that could have come out of it.
Wrong time, wrong audience.
Yeah, it's just dumb.
Yeah, even though we do know that
I'm afraid for
comedian.
American society, if people think he's funny, the guy is not funny.
Yeah,
I mean, he is
but
a terrible comedian.
But you want to know, right? But everybody knows that he's a comedian, and I think that
from the Democratic side,
the biggest comical part about this is that you know how many people on the left go pay and to watch people like this. We all know what comedians are, and we know when they are trying to say something that is just funny out of comedy. Now all of a sudden, nobody can have humor, and he might not be your flavor of comedy, and that's fine. But for the left to all of a sudden, well, I'm not going to say all of a sudden because they blame Trump for everything. We talked about that yesterday. Anything that they can blame the guy for, they're going to. So now they're attacking him for this comedian that got up there. He wasn't making a factual statement like Joe Biden did about us being garbage.
Free speech.
Well, he was, but he was also, it was in a forum, in a comical comedy way. He's not getting up there and trying to run, to be a cabinet member for Donald Trump to, lead our country in any way, shape, or form. He was up there basically to make jokes, just like they had the roast last week. That people know what jokes are.
Yeah, so, we need to leave comedians alone. Maybe comedians should. I mean, it's not uncommon for comedians to be brought to these rallies. Trump said this.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what? And some of them are funny and some aren't. But I think
but if you're going to get one, get a funny one. I'm sorry. This guy is just not funny.
He's a king in comedy right now.
I'm more afraid of our American society if there's people who actually think he's funny. I mean, his he's just, I don't know. There's just something. I grew up in a different era where we actually had really good comedians, and this guy, and I know you say that you love comedy and you're into comedy, Joe, but this dude was not. If you play his monologue from the rally, and I watched it all, it is boring. It misses. It's like this guy maybe he needs to be talking to. It's just not very intelligent.
But you know what, too?
To his defense, though, it might have been a bad set for one. And another, he's not used to doing campaign rallies. You know what I mean? Like, he's used to doing comedy. This is not his normal thing.
And then the Democrats,
a funny guy.
And then the Democrat. Well, he must be he must be appealing to somebody because, as you said, he's a king in comedy right now with his show Kill Tony, which is super, super popular. But I don't find him funny at all. From what I saw, I'm like, oh my God, this guy.
But I will say right now, I'm not sure that anyone is really in the funny comedy mood. I think that people are really, really uptight right now. People are tense right now. This is, as we have said 1,000 times, this is the election of a lifetime. This election really, really means a lot to people. And I think that people are super, super, super emotionally invested right now. And so, it's kind of like, okay, whatever, we know it's a joke, but like right now, like I'm just not in the mood for jokes. I'm maybe that is the sentiment for a lot of people. Could we use some laughter and some funniness right now? Absolutely. We need it. But I think a lot of people are just kind of like holding their breath until next week.
Well, regardless of the comedy, they put him in there. The set was not good. His comment was just stupid. He may be funny in other senses. Somebody said the Tom Brady roast. Yeah, he was funny. I forgot that he did that. That was good. He shouldn't be in politics. It's all right. Even if you're good, you're going to screw up. And he screwed up. It's a bad day for him. Not only did he screw up himself for a while, but he screwed up a little bit the rally, even though I'm not going there. The Democrats are trying to use it because they're so damn desperate right now. They need something. Donald Trump went on Hannity to explain the truth about this last night. And thank God Trump explained it to make sure that everybody understood what's true, what isn't true, because, you know, Trump is legit and Trump's not a liar.
I don't know who it is. I don't even know who put him in. And I can't imagine it's a big deal. I've done more for Puerto Rico than any president I think that's ever been president.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's right about that.
Yeah. And, you know, he's, again, you know, the comic was trying to basically, you know, make it a point because Puerto Rico right now, you know, obviously Kamala Harris wants Puerto Rico. Donald Trump wants Puerto Rico, you know, and the whole Latino thing and the whole, you know, just being a Puerto Rican and who's going to get the most support. And that's where the joke came in. Cause I know a lot of you guys are wondering, like, why did he even bring Puerto Rico up? And that's why. So we were talking about that and it being basically, you know, surrounded by water. And you talked about it floating in the ocean and being, you know, basically floating garbage.
Floating garbage. Yeah. It's just like,
so, you know,
but what comedian in their right mind would think that that's even funny? I mean, what a dumbass. I mean, this guy, what a dumbass.
I don't
I
know.
guess when you try to have comedy, you're going to miss a lot. And then sometimes you hit, I guess, I don't know, but it's not even I mean,
it wasn't, it just, it didn't, no point was made, you know, and so, you know, we move on, you know,
but
he
the
tried to
best
make it
part
funny and it wasn't.
about this is that Puerto Ricans at the rallies, we said yesterday, said, no, we don't care. It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Ha, 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 ha. Whatever. We get it. The Democrats trying to make something out of nothing. Then yesterday,
constantly,
the Puerto Rican senator who represents their country, guess what? Came out and said, we're backing Trump.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it.
So the Democrats were dead in the water.
They're smart enough to know that it was not a true insult. It was a joke.
It was just a bad joke.
It was. But you know, what concerns me more, Vic, you said, you know, that you're worried about, you know, people listening to this and hearing these distasteful jokes and things like this. But what worries me is when people listen to Kamala Harris and, like she said last night, just so many lies. She literally would say one thing in one sentence and turn around and contradict herself in the next. That's what worries me, is that people that can't follow along and like are like believing everything that she says. That's what worries me.
Well, it is. By the way, the Puerto Rican senator who came out immediately supporting Trump is Zoraida Buxo, and she was endorsing Trump at the Pennsylvania rally yesterday to make sure that people understood that Puerto Rico is more for Trump, but whatever, however they go, whatever. I've noticed in life that it's human nature to play victim for a lot of people too. I don't know if that's what Puerto Rico is doing, but that's not what I've seen. That's not what I've seen so far. So the story is dead. It's over. Finally, it's just stupid. It was an amazing rally. Democrats are scared. They're desperate. And I don't blame them because they've got terrible candidates and they know they have terrible candidates. Arguably the worst candidates you could possibly ever imagine. And one other thing about that rally, which I thought was interesting, was Tim Walz isn't backing down from his comments of calling people at the rally Nazis. So now you have another situation that's happening where they're like, oh, really? This is what's happening? So we're going to see that. So Joe, I just wanted to make sure when I do share the screen and I go and I show the stuff that's happening, I just want to make sure that people hear this. Listen to what Tim Walz says. He's not backing down.
There's a volume control on the video that you probably need to turn up.
Where is the volume control?
If you hover over the video, there's a little speaker that right there. Yeah, it's muted.
The rally you saw for yourself. I'll let the American public.
Okay.
1930s at Madison Square Garden.
Look, I'm comparing it to the hate.
Pull it all the way back to the beginning.
You stand by the comparison? You said over the weekend, referring to it, there's a direct parallel to a big rally that happened in the mid-1930s at Madison Square Garden. Well, you were comparing that rally to a Nazi rally?
Donald Trump has descended into madness over the last few weeks. And I think some of you don't miss on this. Go do your Google on this. Donald Trump's got this big rally.
Oh, they hated so much that he was doing this rally. They tried to, for days and days, tried to make it sound like he was preparing for a Hitler rally. They were so scared. And I just think it's so funny because not only did they try to make it sound like Donald Trump was bad for doing this, he tried to make it sound like the actual physical place, that Madison Square Garden, that's a bad place, that you only go and do that place if you're doing something disgraceful. The desperation coming from them, it's really sad. It's really sad to see, because they have nothing else.
No,
and
they
you know,
don't.
and what else? It's like,
They
okay,
don't.
so you've already called Donald Trump Hitler. You've already used the word Nazi in correlation in the same sentence with Israel now, which that is a complete oxymoron, makes zero sense. So, what's next? You've already, you can't go. I think that calling him Hitler, that's the end of the line. What's next? What can you do next? I don't think that there's anything left. I think that they're at the bottom of their barrel. And like I said yesterday, if you truly think, and you're trying to convince all of these people that he's a Hitler, what are you going to do when he wins?
He's going to win. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
he's
and I
want to
know.
election.
I want to know. I want to know, what Kamala Harris, if she truly thinks that he's the next Hitler getting in, I want to know what she's going to do. I want to know how she's going to prevent America from having another Hitler, because you don't just throw that word around lightly. I mean, that's a serious accusation. And I hope that people that tuned into her last night, when she, said that Donald Trump, all he wants is to create fear and divisiveness, and that she wants to work with both sides. She wants to work with the left. She wants to work with the right. She wants to turn the page. She wants to create a United States again. And then literally she turns around, and not even 10 seconds later, she starts calling Donald Trump a tyrant again, a dictator. And says that as soon as he gets into office, he's going to sit down at his desk and he's going to go through his list of enemies that he wants to get vengeance on. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, I was actually paying attention, Kamala, and 10 seconds ago, you just said that you're trying to unite our country and that you are trying to not have fear or divisiveness. I'm sorry. Did you just call him a tyrant and a dictator and said that he wants nothing but blood as soon as he gets his first day in office? And then she says, but me, I'm not going to sit down with a vengeance list. I'm going to sit down with a to-do list because I have a lot of work to do. I mean,
I think you give her too much credit.
Well, I'm paying attention.
She's an idiot. She's not resonating. She's not resonating. If you're a Democrat, you're not changing. If you're a Republican, you're not changing. There are not that many independents out there that I have seen or talked to across this country on this show, and people that I know, and asking people. There just aren't. There's not enough that are. I don't want you to worry, Megan.
But here's the thing. I worry because I'm trying to raise children in this world. And there's a lot of young voters.
Well, that's a good
maybe
point.
First or second time voters that don't know if they're Democrat or Republican. They have no idea. Maybe they're going to do their own thinking. They're not going to listen to what mom and dad said or grandma and grandpa or their professor, at Columbia.
Yeah, but what if they're getting good advice, in your opinion, from those people?
And they need to sit down and they need to listen like I am and pay attention. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I just hope that they are able to discern between what she's saying that she's going to do for our country and what she has already done for our country, which is zero. But I just hope that people can see through that. And I hope that they can hear the hypocritical lying that she does, and again, she's a politician. I get it, kind of part of the gig, whatever. You talk out of all sides of your mouth. But again, this election is super, super important.
And I just hope that people can discern. And, I do have a first time voter, a kid. And, he thinks that she's hilarious. He sees what I see. And I just hope that other people do too, whether it's a first time voter or whether you're, 80 years old and you've never voted before.
It's,
yeah.
She's getting beat. The only thing we should be worried about are voting machines. There's people in this country have woken up. They have. We see it when he goes out, when she goes out. There's no comparison. You see this. It doesn't matter, as we said yesterday, $1 billion in advertising, all these dirty, nasty P. Diddy, A-list friend, all the groupies. That's who's supporting. I mean, the game's over. The game's over.
Diddy.
Sorry.
Yep.
It has been. The drapes have been opened. I'm telling you, the curtain is now open. Mm-hmm. We see, people see. And it's a great, great thing to see what the possibilities are with this country because of where we're going. And yes, media is going to continue to attack Donald Trump. Yes, they're going to continue to lie because that's what they do. And that's what they've done. And that's what they're going to continue to do in their state-run media in this country. The only way you can go back is to not support them in any way, form, or fashion. Know where your money's going. We've talked about that as well. Use products that support patriots. And it's not that difficult. You can do these things. Don't just go ho as hum. But there's going to be people who vote and do the things that may upset us. And you know that they're uneducated because they haven't taken the time to actually study all the issues. And I think everybody's been there at one point in their life where maybe they don't understand politics the full way. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've seen a lot of those people. I happened to get into politics early on. I loved it. And Ronald Reagan was a guy that blew my mind. And I'm like, man, he was a Democrat and he changed? Really?
Yeah.
To a Republican? And I was like, dang, he's all about this country. Mm-hmm. And of course, I started getting into politics. So there's hope. There is hope. I'm just used to the other side saying what they say, lying with, and it's going to get worse. I'm telling you, they are not going to sit back after there's too much at stake. Too much has happened for this country to go down. And I'm telling you, it's not by chance, all of the things, and you guys know this, that have happened to this country to try to tear it apart. And a lot of it started with Barack Obama. It did.
Yeah.
It did. It's there. But
and you're right though. And it's nothing new. And it's part of the political game. We are used to what the left has been saying and has been saying for several years now. We're used to all that. Like I said, though, the thing that worries me are the people that actually listen and believe these things. That's the issue. And I know so many young people that are voting left, and they're not voting for Kamala Harris. I truly don't think that anyone that goes in and casts a vote for Kamala Harris, you're not voting for Kamala Harris. She had zero chance of becoming a president-elect 4 years ago. And she was in no way, shape, or form prepared or ready or fit to be a president, in the campaign this time. She was literally pushed in when Biden was pulled out. And we have not even seen who she is. The one thing that we have seen is that she has opened our border and she has allowed millions upon millions of illegal aliens into our country. That is the only thing that we know about her. So when you go in and you cast your vote for her, you're not voting for her. You are voting because you are used to voting left, and you hear these crazy, ideologies, about the LGBTQ, and then people are, the latest and greatest is that Trump's going to ban gay marriage, blah, blah, blah.
Oh my God.
Just all of these crazy things. So you're voting for this left ideology that is truly, truly not good. It's sick.
Well,
it is.
One of the best things that happened where you had people like Elon Musk, as I've talked about, coming across the aisle, and just going, wait a second, I saw what they were doing to Donald Trump. And then we saw the heart that Elon had. We already knew one of the most intelligent people that's ever lived, super successful, what he has done. Then Tulsi Gabbard. Look up Tulsi Gabbard on X. Look at her new video. She's released, it's about a 4 minutes, 40 second video about how she went from being a Democrat to the conservative side. And you don't have to vote for the people or vote against the people, but look at at least the policies. At least that was part of our conversation yesterday when it came to our Democrats. Christian, look at the policy. Vote the policy. Damn, if you vote the policy, you're going to end up on the conservative side if you're truly somebody who cares about what's happening in America. And I talk about hope, and I love everything that Elon has done for Donald Trump. Everything. Because once again, this is a person that is super damn busy. None of us could even begin to imagine what a life like for him is. Yeah, he stuck his neck out because he was there. And now you have Trump's media and technology group, TMTG, by the way, now valued at over $10 billion after its shares more than quadrupled since late September. And there are Democrats who try to say Trump's company's terrible. And it's like, what? Where's your facts? Meanwhile, the X Holdings, which was taken private 2 years ago, it's valued around $9.4 billion. Now, it's not a competition, Trump and Elon back and forth, because they're friends now. They're teammates. They respect one another from a business standpoint and just from a man's standpoint, man to man. But that's incredible to me that TMTG is now valued at $10 billion. And X Holdings at $9.4 billion. And that's the most recent value. That's based on the most recent value, according to investment group Fidelity. That's assigned its stake in the company, which is phenomenal. What is happening right now? So people just want to tear Trump down at think of all the attacks. They went after his money, his family, his life, his reputation, everything they could do, and they couldn't win. Yeah. That's why I'm not worried. Don't think I've been worried about our voting machines. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what I'm worried about.
Oh my gosh.
And but just think about that. No, it's almost got this feel of it being God ordained when it comes with Trump, because let's just think back 4 years ago, right after the last election occurred and January 6th happened and media is doing this and media is doing that. This may be the greatest comeback. I'll call it the greatest comeback ever in American history. Yeah. Give me a better one when Donald Trump wins. How
100%.
about even, and I know he's going to win, but even if he didn't win, think about the comeback that has happened in 4 years before our eyes with this man and everything that's been done. And here he is, for all intents and purposes, leading, polling, and dominating after everything that's been done to him. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this, Megan.
No, we haven't. I mean,
talk about a hero for kids, people, adults, men, women, every color of skin, that so much could happen to you and be done to you. Yet there you are.
Yeah.
Giving up the life of easy to go after this and go through hell to help an entire country.
Mm-hmm. And we've never seen, someone that is running for president do as much as he has been doing. The guy has been nonstop. It's rally after rally. It's interview after interview. It's, visiting just, whether it's, low class, middle class, upper class. I mean, he is going and he's speaking to the people. He's spending time with the people. He's showing people that they matter and that he cares. He's got to be absolutely exhausted. And so, I don't know that we'll ever see another person running for president, do as much as he has done. I mean, comparatively speaking, look at what Joe Biden did. I mean, the guy didn't leave his basement when he was running. And he has just been out talking to the people, but also, on the flip side, we also have never seen the weaponization of our judicial system, our legal system. We have never seen anything like it. I hope
we haven't.
Never see anything like it again. But please, people, don't forget what this guy has been through. Forget about the assassination attempts. He spent every single day in a courtroom for bogus indictments against him. Couldn't talk about it when he was supposed to be, on his campaign trail. It's just, I don't know how much more one person can take or his family. I mean, think about maybe his older kids, they weren't affected as much, but he, had a teenage son, and a wife that, I feel sorry for Melania. I'm like, I would not want to be married to that man right now. Talk about zero time with the family and just the worry and the worry and the worry. It's just constant, and I don't know if you guys noticed the other night at the rally at MSG, but she had a bulletproof vest on. I mean, you could see, it under her dress. I mean, her dress looked big, and it was because it had to fit. But I just thought,
living that life.
Yes. I mean, can you imagine? So here she is. And you know what? That took a lot of courage.
And Trump also talked about that the hate from the left has really produced the attempts on his life.
Yes.
Those that we know about, and guess what? Those that we don't.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
There have been stories of things happening behind the scenes as well. That's why the Trump family and what they're dealing with and everything they're going, it blows my freaking mind. Kamala was asked on a tarmac about Biden's comments, by the way, of calling everybody garbage. By the way, welcome to Trash Talk today, where all of us garbage who support Trump gather to have our conversations. That's right. The former president, or the president, I call him the former president already because he's been null and void, called Trump supporters garbage. He's trying to disassociate himself. Now he's trying to say, I meant the rhetoric. Oh, okay, that's what you meant. Liar. And then here's Kamala. Let's see if she actually answers a question or tries to disassociate herself when asked about Biden calling Trump supporters garbage, which is far worse, in my humble opinion, than Hillary Clinton calling us all deplorables.
Do you sympathize with any voters who do feel offended by or insulted by the garbage comments?
I am running for president of the United States. I will be traveling to 3 states today to do what I have been doing throughout, which is talking with the American people about the fact that, first of all, I get it in terms of the concerns they have about challenges like the price of groceries.
Do you sympathize with any?
Yeah. Thanks, Kamala, you lying, cheating, stealing, nasty, stinky ass candidate, the worst Democratic Republican candidate in the history of this country. She is such a liar. She is such a POS because she lies and she tries to avoid. Answer the damn question. You never answer questions. And I am running for president. It's like, oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. She is the biggest POS this country's ever seen. And Megan, I'm glad you agree with me because she is such a damn liar.
Yeah, she really, I mean,
these Democrats think that that's fine. I mean, I'm sorry. That's why I finally came over to everybody, your guys' side. Mental illness is present.
She will be in memes and skits for years and years to come.
I hope
even
not.
When
she's not that cool. She's not that
she's
important.
A whisper in the wind. I mean, she talk about comedy. I mean, she is a walking comedy skit. I mean, you just never know what you're going to get. And 110% guaranteed you're going to walk away laughing because you cannot figure out or decipher what the woman has said at any time ever. I mean, she says stuff like this and you're just like, wow, she's running for president of the United States. Yeah, that's great.
Because that's how the system works now. She didn't win anything. She was appointed, which is another reason why you have to be careful if you're voting for a Democratic Party candidate. Once again, they're refusing to say or acknowledge Joe Biden because he was taken out yet. Oh, he's so great. He's so great. And then, of course, it's clear as day. It's clear as day. And I think most Democrats know this, but their pride factor is so great that they have an issue. They can't admit it because they hate Trump so much. But they all know.
And she's not,
and she's not going to win. I'm sorry, she's not. The biggest cheating scandal in the history of the world is going to have to take place. That which we saw in Venezuela for it to happen. There's no freaking way. And everybody knows she's not. She is. Name a worse presidential candidate that we have seen since Kamala Harris. I'm all about facts. I'm about proof. Show me. There isn't one.
No, there isn't.
And she refused to answer the question. So not only is she a liar, she's disrespectful to reporters because she won't answer questions. This, my friends, is why she doesn't do pop-up pressers, because she can't answer questions. It's not even a contest between her and Donald. It's not even close. You may not like him, but my God, does he wipe the floor with her dirty ass?
Well, the other funny part to her team is Tim Walz. And I think it is equally.
And she's the one that you get concerned about your kids voting. Now I see. why you're so angry at Kamala because of all of these lies and cheating and stealing.
Yeah.
I get it.
So yeah, I mean, this is what is being fed. You and I, Vic, we're old. So we get it. We know. I mean, and I like to think that we are smart and that we do our homework and we try to figure out what the truth is and what is truly best for our country. But yes, a lot of young people, they don't know yet. And this is what they're hearing, this kind of thing. And that's what I don't want. Irregardless of politics. I mean, I don't want it now. I don't want it November 5th. I don't want it after November 5th. I don't want people feeding this garbage to anyone, whether you're an adult or a young person. But Tim Walz, talk about evading questions and not answering. He is like a 10-year-old.
Yeah, they all are.
Every time they question him about whether it was something that he said himself or something that Kamala has said, he's like, but Donald Trump, he said blah blah blah. Like it's like, how old are you?
Yeah, he's another POS. That's
Answer the question. I can't say what I think about him, but I think he might be missing a few cards in his deck.
You think
for real?
And
let me tell you, his wife, she's not stacking his cards in her deck.
No, they're not.
No.
But you know what?
Just a few short too.
This, and I appreciate this. This is what we were sent.
Oh boy.
There you go.
Yeah.
She wants to call Donald
who wore
and
it
Republican.
Better, Kamala.
I mean, she is channeling her inner Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing she's missing is the little stash. I mean, literally, look at them.
Yeah.
Look at that. For our listeners on the podcast.
I can fix that in Photoshop, by the
way. We're Hitler and Kamala Harris dressed almost identically. You can't make that up.
Yeah. No.
Look at that.
Again, it goes back to they are doing what they are accusing other people of, but I think that this whole this banter about Trump being Hitler and a dictator and a tyrant, you know what? I truly, truly believe that it has gone too far when you start talking about someone like this, someone who literally changed the trajectory for millions and millions of people that we'll never forget that. We'll never forget that time in history. And so I think that
there are many on the left that want to say that it never happened and want us to forget that time in history.
Yeah. Well,
yet there's Jews who will still vote for those same people on the left.
Yeah. Well,
and that shows you what's going wrong in the Jewish community.
Yeah. And I don't understand that. I mean, I truly don't.
It's called pride.
Yeah. And I do.
And you know why it's pride, Megan? Because people don't like to admit that they're wrong.
Right. Well, yeah. And like you said, they don't want to admit that they're
I've been wrong
for
this long.
Yeah.
Yet I know a Jewish man, Ben, who owns Wendy's, who was able to make that transition because he isn't a man of pride. It's all about pride, admitting, you know what? I don't like Donald Trump, but you know what? He's best for our country and he cares about the Jewish people more than any other candidate we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But there's too many Jews who are prideful and refuse to admit that they're wrong.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, there's a lot of Jews that are still upset with Bibi Netanyahu. And so they're using that, Bibi in his relationship with Donald Trump.
But that's a whole nother deal. Why are they upset with him though? And it gets back to conservatism versus liberals.
That's right. And so it's political within their own.
It's a political pride that they cannot get rid of.
Exactly. And so they are willing to carry that into our own, Israel's its own country. We're our own country. You need to start seeing what's really happening.
This is Cancel This, by the way, canceltheshow.com. That's Megan Marie Moret.
Hi.
I'm Vic Faust, Pro-Joe in the house, making sure that we look and sound as good as we possibly can. One big thing that's also been happening as we did this show today, we will be here tomorrow as well. We will not be here Friday, but we'll probably do shows or try to do shows all week next week if we can get everybody in here, and we'll see where that is. But this is a big thing that's happening. I want to address this. Missouri Attorney General, Andrew Bailey's been phenomenal since he's taken office. He tweeted last night that he had filed a brief to halt the Biden-Harris administration when it came to a lawsuit to stop states, literally, where this is American 2024 trying to really let this sink in and process. Having to file a lawsuit to stop states from, or at least because they're trying to not allow them to remove non-citizens from their voter rolls. Literally, there are states who are stopping it. He's having to file suit to stop them from stopping the removal of non-citizens from their voter rolls. Let me repeat that.
Unbelievable.
He's joined 25 other states where they're having to sue the damn states because they're refusing to remove non-citizens from the voter rolls. Yeah. And you want to vote Democratic. Any Democrat that wants a non-citizen and illegal to vote in the same election where they are a legal citizen should not have their vote. Shame on you, because now we know who you are. And we're not trying to be mean and bombastic. This is factual stuff. This is our country. Yeah. Yet, this is, again, a pride issue, because you know that you can't say, I'm against that, even though you know in your heart of hearts and your head of heads that it's wrong. That it's illegal, but you have to find a way to justify it so you don't have to admit that you're wrong, because admitting that you're wrong is that prideful sin, the worst sin, as we were told from Scripture that there possibly is. Pride, pride, pride. Yet now we're having to do this. And Tanya put in, by the way, just today, the Supreme Court ruled in Virginia that they will be removing non-citizens from its voter rolls before the election. This is a success. The ruling blocked a federal judge's recent decision against the effort, a federal judge. And if you're not telling me they're trying to dictate policy from the bench, think again. They literally, a federal judge literally was stopping the removal of 1,600 illegal voters in Virginia. But today, quote, I am pleased to announce that the U.S. Supreme Court granted Virginia's emergency stay to keep non-citizens off of our voter rolls. That, according to Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares, he wrote that. And this is what's sad. You actually had, it was a 6-3 decision. And thank God the conservatives acted in a conservative manner, because we know they don't always do that. 3 liberal judges voted for non-citizens to be able to vote.
Of course they did.
Which team do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the illegal left or the correct, proper, lawful right? It is that simple. My God, thank you, God, for that happening in Virginia. It needs to happen in every freaking state, all of these. And thank you for the work of Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey, who's done nothing but kick ass since he took office.
Yep. And Vic, can you even believe that we're having these types of conversations?
Well, in 2024, I can, only because I've been conditioned to believe that it can happen, but it shouldn't.
We should not be discussing.
So I love your voice. You're right. You bring things into perspective. Why are we even having this conversation?
Right. Illegals voting, whether it's a state vote or a countrywide vote, it should not. This shouldn't. What other country, if someone can give me the answer, what other country could I go into today? Could I go just get a flight and go there and spend, a few days and go and walk up and be like, I'm voting in your election, whether it's, a county election, a city election, or for the country. No other country, because it is just not right on so many levels. And it's just kind of just plain dumb and stupid and ignorant. Where can anybody else go and just go vote in their elections? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And it's not because it's hateful. It's because the American citizens have earned the right and the privilege to vote in this country. It is a democratic country. It is not a free-for-all. We who are paying taxes, who are raising children, who are sending our children into the military, or our fathers or our grandfathers have fought to serve in this country. Those are the people that have earned the right to vote in this country, not people that have just come here and been here. I don't care if it's 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, a year, 10 years. If you're not a citizen, you haven't earned the privilege. It's just as simple as that for me.
And here we are talking about this stuff again today. And you know what? And JD Vance, I bet, will hit on that today when he's on with Joe Rogan. And I think he should. And of course, it's going to be another tremendous day for the Trump campaign. Donald Trump killed it on Rogan last week.
Mm-hmm.
Millions and millions and millions of more people still watching or seeing it after the initial 35 million, which was just a day after. And now JD Vance is going to go shine just like he does. And I promise you they'll be talking about illegal immigration. And by the way, another note on Kamala Harris, once again, Rogan says he still hopes to get Kamala, but her and her team with their demands where Rogan's going to have to go to her and it can only be an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Just remember, this is what you're dealing with. All the excuses, the excuse making, we'll come up with this, we'll come up with that. She wants no part of a 3-hour interview because she gets exposed like the Democratic Party gets exposed. When you shine light on those cockroaches in the darkness, they run for cover.
Yeah. Wouldn't you love to ride shotgun with Kamala's campaign team just to like, just be a fly on the wall and just hear what they say all the time when they hear, because they've got to be shaking in their boots.
Well, we know that.
Nothing that she does,
we already told you the word was that they're doing a bunch of gummies.
Yeah, that's
trying
true.
to relax themselves because they know they're getting their asses beat by Donald Trump. And Democrats like this. It's like, oh my God. It's like holy water on a devil or a demon or an evil spirit. They don't know what to do.
No, they don't. And they want to make her someone that she's not.
Susan says it's because she's an alcoholic and she needs a fix.
That could be. But I mean, either way, regardless of her own personal issues, she can't do an interview to save her life. She can't do a 30-second just Q&A from just a random reporter. I mean, she can't even answer a question without having, her earring telling her what to do or reading a prompter.
And if she wants a drink, Joe Rogan will pour it for her.
Well, see, she ought to go. They could just go and she could get hammered and maybe she'd start telling
they're probably
truth.
getting more hammered after the ruling came out from Virginia, which I just brought up as breaking news. That's huge because it also sets precedent. And there's no reason that every state in the country that has filed some sort of suit or brief to stop illegals from voting should not be. It should be done. Absolutely, it should be done. Because now we sit here on October 30th on this Wednesday, not too far away from the election actually happening and it being a historic election. And we want people to vote. We're telling, go vote. It's so important.
Yeah.
Yet we don't call out, or at least the national media is refusing to call out the illegals on the ballot. They won't tell you about that.
No, and don't you think it's funny, Vic, that
the state-run media, which is not doing a very good job and hasn't, and that's why nobody watches local and national news anymore.
Mm-hmm. The last several weeks, Kamala Harris and just the Dems in general have just been going off on the Supreme Court. I mean, they have not had one good thing to say about the Supreme Court. And I think it's funny. I think because they were anticipating these things happening. They knew that there was going to be states that were going to say, hey, no, like if you're an illegal, you're not voting here. You're not voting here and you're not voting for the president of the United States. And I just find it very daunting that they were trying to plant those seeds. And it wasn't just about Roe versus Wade and abortion. I mean, they've beat that horse. But I just find it very interesting that they have just been really trying to ramp up the hate almost for the Supreme Court.
Well, they have. Kamala over the weekend said that she wants to pack the Supreme Court.
She did.
She said that the Supreme Court they don't get you people.
Yeah.
That's exactly what she's trying to do. You're right, Megan. It's a great point.
Yeah. And so now, you're going to be seeing the Supreme Court be presented with these kind of, judgments that they're going to have to make. And she's going to make it, I guarantee you right now, she's going to try and make it sound like this was so unfair that they are prejudiced. You know what? Hey, we didn't talk about Hillary
But just
Clinton.
remember who they are.
Yeah, that's true.
What, Hillary Clinton or deplorables?
Well, the deplorables. And, I hope that, we're not going to hear it because it's mainstream media, but
of course you're not. You're waking up.
Yeah.
No, you've already awake.
You go back to 2016 and you hear Hillary Clinton. I mean, talk about divisive and fear mongering.
That's who they are.
What she said about Republicans and what she said about Donald Trump, it's just disgusting. She just listening to that is horrific. And so when you hear Kamala Harris say that she's sick of the divisiveness and the fear that Donald Trump is trying to instill in the American people, and then you hear people like Hillary Clinton, and her sentiment has not changed. She's just using a little bit different words. But she said that the Republicans were fascist, sexist, xenophobic, misogynist, all of the
all
words,
those things,
and that she wishes that she could take half of the Republican Party and ship them out. I mean, so I don't know if they're forgetting. They're big talkers. They're big, what would you call talking heads of the Democratic Party. They need, before they start, throwing, rocks, they need to remember who is saying what, because I mean, they're the ones, they are truly, truly the ones that have started, the divide between the Republican and the Democratic Party. I mean, they've done it, they've created it. And, I truly believe that MAGA, simply means common sense, nothing else. No ist words on the end or anything else like that. I think that, I mean, I'm proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I really, truly am. I don't want anything to do with anything that the left is saying right now.
Well, they tried to say Republicans are a party of hate.
Mm-hmm.
You know that.
Yeah. Party of hate.
And just here's the recap. This is what you got right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's who they are. Hillary Clinton called everybody deplorables if you're a conservative or if you vote for Donald Trump. Kamala Harris just last week called you Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden last night called you garbage. This is an easy review. I like things easy. We're not going to make things difficult. Who is the party of hate? Who is the party of divisiveness? Who is the party of Marxism that will tell you you're doing something, but they're doing it themselves? It's right there. Deplorables, Nazis, and garbage. Welcome to the Democratic Party, where we point the finger and forget that we have the other four fingers pointing right back at, or the other three fingers pointing right back at us.
Yeah.
That's who they are, summed up in a nutshell. You guys are hateful. How dare you? You don't love people. You don't have a heart. Mm-hmm. Deplorables, Nazis, garbage. Yeah. These are the representatives of the Democratic Party. You want to vote with that? Yeah, that's what I thought. You can't look yourself in a mirror and take yourself seriously when it comes to these types of situations. Prove to me and Megan that we are wrong. Prove it. You can't. Number one, you don't have the courage to join the show. And number two, you don't have any policy and you don't have anything to back up any argument that you have.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're losing. And it's going to happen next week. Yes. And then you're going to fight the election.
Come on already.
And then you're going to fight the election and come after Donald Trump with everything you possibly can.
Yes.
I'm done.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Come on, November 5th.
Let's
bring it, DJ.
That's who they are.
Let's
right
go.
There.
Hey, but another reminder, guess what, everyone? Joe Biden is still our president. I just thought I'd give a PSA.
Yeah, and he doesn't know that.
No, he doesn't.
That's a shame. I want to give a shout out to our advertisers and sponsors. We love them. And by the way, we're always looking for people who want to jump in with us. It takes a lot of money to do what we do. We know we do it well, and it means a lot to us. It's our passion. That's why we do this. Paul, thank you for the great show. Great job. We think we do that, not to be in an arrogant standpoint, but we care about this. So special thanks to Complete Auto Body Repair. Once again, Complete Auto Body Repair, CompleteAB.com. The best place to get your car taken care of. A to Z. From front of the vehicle to the back, even tires. They sell cars as well. They've also got tons of jobs opening. Great company to work for. Hundreds of employees. 314-731-7999 all throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. You can also contact them at CompleteAB.com. Literally, look at their car situation as well. They sell a lot of great cars. They get them. They're able to buy them cheaper, which they're able to pass on to you at a better price as well. when it comes to this show and we talk about people who need to be promoted because they're not afraid to promote who they are, they're not afraid of other people coming at them, that is the man who's running for state attorney of Missouri right now, and that's David Gregory. conservativeinjurylawyer.com, conservativeinjurylawyer.com. If you've suffered pain or if you've been hurt in any way, there's nobody better to contact than Dave Gregory. I'm going to tell you this right now. There's liberal PI attorneys out there. Guess who they hire? They hire Dave. That's because he can work in every state in the country. I'm not kidding you. Call him. Tell him that you heard about him on Cancel This, and he's going to give 5% back of your settlement that his firm would normally take to you because we promote him on Cancel This. 314-619-4230. 314-619-4230. You can email him at conservativeinjurylawyer.com. The other thing that's interesting to bring up as we do these ads is just remember, if you're in the West County area, you have friends or family, remind them to vote when it comes to Dave. For whatever reason, state senator is a great position, but it's not like governor. It's not a U.S. senator. George Soros PAC money in the amount of $600,000 has come into Missouri to try to defeat Dave. A state Senate position, and they are going after him hard freaking core. That shows you that he is a true conservative. That shows you he's a guy you want to get out and vote for because they are going after him hardcore. Hard freaking core. Why are they doing it? Well, they're afraid of Dave. And they're afraid because he's conservative, and they're afraid about him being a future top-level candidate, not only in the state of Missouri, but maybe a U.S. senator as well. And we just appreciate somebody who has that courage to go out and do what Dave is doing. By the way, I've used him twice. I got hit twice, was shocked at the settlements that I got. Joe used him twice. Joe's girlfriend. I'm telling you, it is. If you have any questions, contact me, vic@canceltheshow.com. I'll tell you about my experience with David Gregory. Also, Wenty's in the Chesterfield Valley. They've been with us from the start. I brought up Ben earlier. He's one of those Jewish men, hardcore Democrat from Manhattan, who said, you know what? I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump, but I know what's best for this country, and I'm going to check my pride at the door. I don't care that a lot of Jews in the past have voted Democratic. We got to wake up and know what's best for this country. And that's what Ben has done. And Ben's a super successful businessman. He and his wife own Wenty's in the Chesterfield Valley. Wenty's in Defiance. Ben was also a super successful businessman. He's sells books, works with book publishers, and has become a national brand. And he's like, it's time that we wake up for this country. And he's like, hey, I'm not going to say I love Donald Trump, but you know what? His policies are best, and he's best for America. Support Wenty's, just like Wenty's supports this show. And let them know that you appreciate them advertising here on Cancel This. Playoff Sports Bar and Grill in St. Peter's. It's an awesome place to go. Detroit Mike owns it. Go have some fun with Detroit Mike. Come watch a Lions game with us. It's a fun place to be, especially for Sunday football, and we appreciate playoffs jumping in with us in O'Fallon, Missouri. I said St. Peter's again. It's O'Fallon because O'Fallon's this weird little, it goes horizontally.
Yeah.
Not like the rest.
Weird shaped county.
But check off Mike. Go and look for them. Have a drink. Check out some of their good food. Just a great all-around crowd at playoffs. Also, Ben Lawler with Tom James Clothing. You know, some of the jackets you see me wear here come from Ben. We had him on the show last week. He says style's coming back in. He's like, so get ready. Check him out. He'll take care of you. 314-862-6500. 314-862-6500. Convenient. They have a huge collection and the fit. It makes sense to check it out. And of course, if you're looking for real estate, before you sign with somebody, give Megan Livingstone a call. 314-249-1708. 314-249-1708. You can also email her, megan.livingstone@exprealty.com. Get your plan in place. Once the election happens, I think we're going to see some things happen when it comes to the real estate market. You want to be prepared. You want to have a positive approach, but you want to have an approach where you're going to stay the course, not where you're too high, not where you're too low, because we all know that dealing in real estate, it can take you up and down and all around. Megan's going to keep you focused on the goal. She knows the St. Louis metropolitan area. So check out Megan Livingstone at 314-249-1708. And I am grateful for all of our advertisers. By the way, if you have anybody else that wants to work with us, sponsor us in some way, we would stay on. We would do every day like this. Somebody who wants to make a donation, small donations work too. We'll take any donation because it helps, and it's expensive to do what we do, but we know this is the most important time in our lives and maybe our country when it comes to this election, which is why we're trying to keep these lights on and do more shows on a daily basis. You can go to cancelthisshow.com, click on donation, and we have a PayPal, and there's also Venmo. So we're grateful for that standpoint if you appreciate what we do, and we thank you to those who have donated in the past as well. That's a mouthful. That's a mouthful. So if anybody missed us today, let them know. Like, I didn't know that they were on. We said it yesterday and we were on. We'll be here tomorrow again. And we will not be here Friday, but we'll come back in tomorrow. Can't wait to see or check out JD Vance with Rogan again today and just see what else. I mean, is there going to be another member of a Democratic Party ripping us and telling us what trash we are today? I mean, I guess that would be par for the course.
I mean, we're down to the very last few days before the election. So I hate to say it, but don't be surprised at anything. Don't be surprised at anything that happens. Don't be surprised at any more names that we are so, proudly called. But yeah, I mean, anything goes, and, I would just expect anything because they see what's happening, and Donald Trump is going to win, and he's doing everything that he needs to clinch it. And we're going to be there for it. It's going to be great.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. Pro Joe, appreciate you helping us out and trying to teach me how to run the video today. Grateful for
anytime.
All right. Pro Joe, Megan Marie Moret, Vic Faust, thanks for joining us. Check us out on our social media platforms as well. And thanks again for letting us know about stories and things that are happening. Have a great day.
See you tomorrow.
Presence partner with Cancel This Show with myself, Vic Faust, and my co-host,
Megan Marie. We're ranked in the top 10% globally.
Our show has reached over 1.68 million engaged listeners, and we continue to grow monthly.
Podcasting is one of the best ways to advertise
because it offers a highly engaged audience, SEO-targeted reach,
and the ability to build a personal connection with listeners.
Dive into the dynamic world of cancel culture, politics, all current events, and the latest news with us.
It's the American taxpayers that are having to pay for all of this monkey business left and right.
Look at all of these pictures. They are using AI to generate fake photos, and we show you them. And Joe will show, we got a video of one, we've got certain pictures.
They were hiding the fact and trying to lie to the American people for months that Joe Biden was doing well.
This is Kamala. This is Joe Biden. It's Barack Obama. It's Jake Sullivan, all together doing anything and everything they can to strike back at Donald Trump because he continues to kick their ass.
If that doesn't make you mad enough to vote one way or another in this election, nothing will do it.
Get your company's voice heard, your brand recognized,
and the exposure you deserve.
Does your brand align with our mission?
Let's talk and make an impact together.